Hello, everyone. I saw the movie Star Wars the other day. I know it's been a while. I actually saw the movie twice due to an emergency. I had to leave the first time. I want to give this movie a rating of 7.825 out of 10. Um, for those who don't like the 0.25 increments, if you go on my how do I rate movies, I have a different rating where I take out the 0.25 and I give you the rating. Um, in person, I kind of combine both ratings together. Um, but I give you, you know, your, whatever you want to decide on that. If you like, I rate the 7.25, 7.825 rating, or the just a straight rating, or combine them. I really just try to get you a feel of the movie if you want to go see it or not. Most of my ratings, they're in the C range or B minus range. It's very hard for me to give a solid B, a high B, and the A range, especially a 10. I'm getting back to the movie. I'm gonna go by my first way I rate movies. I'm giving this movie a 7.825 out of 10, which is a C plus. The movie wasn't bad as I thought it would be. However, I could see why others may have felt it was, a disappointment. The whole movie could have been more original, and they could have, you know, uh, made you feel more for the characters. It was kind of like in a way, a touch and go job with that. The movie doesn't really take any risk. It kind of reminds me of a person who was walking in a straight line, and then maybe every once in a while, the person might, you know, come out the line, whether if it was for the best or for the worst. It wasn't really too much walking away from that line. The movie pretty much stayed consistently the way it did. Sometimes that's not a bad thing, but I think this movie should have took more risk. I did initially think this movie would make it to an 8 out of 10. However, due to the final action scenes and the way the very end was, I had to give it a 7.825. The action scenes, the final action scene, it was okay. It kind of reminded me of some video game or comic book kind of action. Uh, but the very end, when it seemed like they were trying to make something deep out of something, and it could have been deep, but they didn't really, go into detail, and it just it felt like the movie, if it wasn't like when I said rushed, as far as you getting to know the characters, the way it ended, what was like how what was said at the end, it could have made the movie seem like it was something deep to that scene. Um, in retrospect, um, that final scene, I think it could have been cooler. If I didn't see the previous Star Wars, I probably would have gave this movie an 8 out of 10. Um, and the anticipation of this movies and the other sequels and the other Star Wars um, kind of had a negative impact on this movie. I say the only positive of these Star Wars sequels is the character Ray. Um, She is the only character I think that has a real positive impact on this franchise. Um, I also wish these sequels had Luke Skywalker having a bigger role. I'm not sure if that's the actor who didn't want the bigger role or the writers just didn't put him in with a bigger role. The character Kylo Ren, I think in this movie he got his street cred or his respect a little bit back in this one. The previous movies he was in, if you don't count the introduction of him, they kind of made his character kind of weak, or it should have been. I felt the character should have been better. If you did see that first one, in the beginning he was real cool, and then it's like he fell off. But in this one, they look like they got him back, or kind of got him back. Where you could say, okay, I could see him being, a bad boy, sort of. As far as the main antagonist in this one, I think they should have explored his correlation with Rey, Kylo Ren, and maybe even brought Luke Skywalker in the midst. The other characters in the movie were okay. In my opinion, I don't think this franchise is going to continue on. But if they were, I think Disney should hand it over to Marvel Comics, since they own both Marvel Comics and Star Wars. I don't think it would be too hard. Maybe Feige can actually somehow find something in the storyline to make it people want to go see Star Wars like they used to. Marvel Comics have done a great job of making movies. It doesn't all follow the comic book, but in real life you can't really make things kind of like make sense comparing it to like a comic book. It's certain things are non-negotiables. You should put in there, but there's some things you just, due to the way society is, you can't take everything from the comic book and put it in a movie. All right, everyone, that's my review. Please put your comments in the section below. May God be with you, and peace.